Hey, what up, what up? NerDad, Monday morning. Just about over Mag Plague. So I put it out there to see what's a good topic of conversation anybody wants to talk about, because I don't always have stuff to talk about. So NickTheNewbie on Twitter, who is the COO of Mag, yo, what up, Skittles? And he suggested discussing the difference between the choice of consequence you get in a game like Deus Ex versus or the consequence of choice, I'm sorry, in a game like Deus Ex versus the consequence of choice in games like GTA 5 or Watch Dogs, open world type stuff. Now, I haven't played Deus Ex and I want to, but I haven't. And I honestly haven't played GTA 5. But if what he's getting at is something like, what are the consequences of choice in a game like Mass Effect, for instance, which I have played, versus the consequence of choice in a game like Skyrim, where Mass Effect, you choose something, same with like Knights of the Old Republic, from back in the day, Jade Empire, all them old BioWare, Dragon Age Origins too. You choose something, and it has a game-lasting effect. Somebody somewhere down the line is going to know or be affected or be pissed or something that you chose a long time ago. And they're going to remember it, and you're going to pay for it, and there's nothing you can do. It's just life. Whereas, like in Skyrim, you can just do crazy mess, and for the most part, nobody's the wiser. There are a couple of like world-shaping events in Skyrim more so than Oblivion, I remember, especially with like the Civil War. You side with one or the other, and you complete the Civil War quest, then either, the Rebellion or the Empire, whatever they were called. I can't remember, it's been so long. They'll always be in control for the remainder of that character's playthrough. So, but really, you you slayed Alduin, you slayed like the Elder Dragon, and people are like, I saw you steal that wheel of cheese. Freeze, criminal scum. Like, really? Bruh, I'm the Dragonborn. I'm the dude. I will Fusro your face off. Step. They don't care. But in Mass Effect, you're Shepard. You are frickin' Shepard. You're the dude. You're the guy all the time. So people always recognize you and know, oh, you did the thing. Oh, you did this, you did that. Even it carries over from game to game. I think it's been long enough for spoilers and shit like that to not count anymore, but you get to choose in the first one whether you save the dude, Caden, or the girl, Ashley. And in Mass Effect 2, if you saved Ashley, you find her in some, as some part of some unit on a planet. I can't remember where now, but... And then in the third one, she joins your party again. And vice versa, I'm sure. I don't know, the dude was a douche, so he never got saved. I didn't like him very much. So that just is what that is. But there is definitely a sense of, real sense of consequence in a game like Mass Effect, and I'm sure like Deus Ex, where, you actually have to stop and think for a second about what you're doing. And I remember a game that presented this to me as like the ultimate choice between good and evil. And I'm so hyped about playing the game, and it comes out and it was the biggest fraud ever, and it was Fable. And it was like, oh, be good or be bad, but be careful, your decisions have consequences. And like, all right, whatever, so you're evil and people are scared of you, or you're good and whatever, but it never feels like game changing. And then you get to the end anyway, and you get the option to just go all the way one way or the other, opposite of what you were. And there's like a well, and if you throw enough money into the well, you can be like, I want to be totally evil instead of good. And it'll flip your karma scale all the way back to the other side. And it's like, this is ridiculous. Nothing I did ever meant anything. You shouldn't be able to undo these choices. I should I should go to places and be targeted on sight. And I feel like it kind of lacks, MMOs like that, I find. Like I play Final Fantasy 14, and you're the freaking warrior of light, and you're going around, and you go to this camp in one of the story missions for A Realm Reborn near the end, and this dude is like, oh, hey, you're the guy. Can you deliver soup? Like, dude, I'm a guy. I'm this freaking warrior of light. I'm the one that's going to save everybody. I was chosen by the gods, and you want me to deliver soup to your soldiers? You don't got some scrub private, some dude you're got, put some punishment you can give to some guy? You want me to deliver soup? Please, come on. It's the same in any other, MMO though. You're really not the only one. So, I feel like World of Warcraft back in the day, anyway, when I used to play it, had that with the factions where, grinding up a certain faction meant grinding down another one. So you would go into some areas where normally they would be neutral and they'd be hostile towards you because you were friendly with somebody else. And that was kind of cool. Like, didn't quite have the same, world-changing, effect like it does in some other games, like regular RPGs. But it does have that whole, I'm making a choice and there's a consequence against it. So because I'm going here, I will not be able to go here. And that's kind of cool. It makes the game, makes you have to, like, I don't know, make smart choices for one, and two, you can't just willy-nilly your way through the game. So it is what that is. That it gives it replayability. If you can't do everything the first time through, then you got to go back and play it again, which is cool. Like, it's cool to see what really are the differences between, choice A and choice B. What sucks is when you go back through and you play it again and you choose choice B instead of choice A, and it's the exact same. It's like, Until Dawn kind of did that, where, you could only make certain choices, and certain choices were going to limit you to, like, sometimes you're going to get a choice where it's kill one or kill the other. So you're forced to not be able to save everybody the first time through. So you have to go back and play it again. The only thing is with a game like that game is only good the first time through, really, because all the jump scares are gone, more or less. And all the tension's gone, and, like, you just don't feel any, you're not like, oh, what's going to happen next? Like, because, you say one thing to the girl instead of another, and nothing really changes except for maybe her reaction's a little bit more sour, or she's happier, depending on what you said. But overall, the plot stays the same. So, like, you're playing through a lot of the same crap just to maybe see a slightly different path, and it's like, no thanks. Games that did this really well, the Zero Escape series, well, after the first one anyway. First one was a little rough because you had to keep starting over, but the second and the third one, Virtue's Last Reward and Zero Time Dilemma, introduced the little grid where whenever an important choice was made, you could hop to just prior to that. And give you the exposition up to that point, and then you would go do the choice again. And then that way you could go, all right, I chose this last time and it led to death, so let me choose the other one so I can continue the game and see where it goes. And with a game like that, it was actually required. There were some times where you had to go die to gain some knowledge about something, and then you go back and choose the choice again, which you couldn't give the right answer or whatever anyway, because you never would know it unless you failed. Like, it forced failure on you, and it was actually kind of cool. If you haven't played those, I suggest it. Highly suggest it. The first 999 is the regular DS game, and then the other two were released on the 3DS and the PS Vita. So, and I think they're coming on Steam soon. So, definitely look into that. They're a ton of fun. I loved them. GDX hated them, but it was awesome watching him play through, because he was just like, I gotta know. And that's how that game is, man. You gotta know what happens, and the game always ends in a cliffhanger, so you gotta play the next one to find out. It's good. The writing's good. The characters are cool for the most part. The plot's very well laid out, even though it's convoluted, but it goes at a good pace. It's like you get just enough, They give you just enough to feel like, oh man, I can't believe so and blah blah blah, and then but what about this? Keep playing, keep going. So I've had them all, beat them all. I love playing them, but I think when they all come out to Steam, the last one, Zero Time Dilemma, is already on Steam, but when they all come out, I'll probably pick them up and maybe play them on stream. Maybe I'll beam them out to the world. Maybe I'll let maybe I'll let all y'all, whoever's watching, come through and choose all the stuff. Decide what, what choices I make. I already know what's going to happen. I played all the games already, but they're fun, and I gladly play them again. You guys can help me solve the puzzles, and then you can choose the choices and see what happens. You can lead me to my death. But it's cool because the characters have a lot of like these, typical personality prototypes in them, and people who play the game tend to embody one or two of those. So some people will go through the game, players will go through the game, and they're like, I'm going to save everybody, screw that, nobody's dying. And other people are like, I'm just getting out alive, I don't give a shit. They'll just pound through, and they don't really care. So it's cool to see people with like different personalities go and play these games, because they approach them from a totally different mentality when it comes time to make those decisions. When it's time to say, do we split up? Do we backstab this person? Do we not? Do we tell the truth? Do we lie? Do we do whatever? Some people are like, oh, I don't want to lie to anybody and be upset and blah, 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 blah. And then sometimes that gets you, straight death. Sometimes trying to be the savior is what gets you killed. So it's just cool to watch other people play it, with different mentalities. I'm always the type to go through and like, I'm going to save everybody. That's always my mentality. So, I always try to make the choices that keep the tone as even keeled as possible, so nobody's really flipping out to kill nobody. But there's always an NPC in the game that's built to like counter that for you every time. So you're in there like, all right, everybody, let's just, stay level-headed and we'll figure this out. And then they're like, he's the guy. He's the one that's doing it all because he wants us all to remain calm so nobody suspects a thing, and blah, blah, blah. Paranoia is crazy. So it's cool. Those games are a bunch of fun. But they do have the consequence of choice. You, excuse me, you will directly pay for your decisions that you make. Most of the time sooner rather than later. But you will be, you will be judged accordingly, and somebody will swing the axe at you. Not always metaphorically. So that's a good one. If you like, feeling like the decisions you make in a game actually mean something versus just, extending dialogue or unlocking an extra item or something, then Zero Escape is totally the way for you to go. So, all right, that's wrapping up for me. Let me get in here and clock back in before I'm late. I will see y'all this afternoon. I don't know, 3:30ish, something like that. Same as always. I try to tweet out before I go. Peace.